Hello everyone, you are welcome to today's lesson. And in today's lesson, the task is very simple. We are going to look at the solution to the team assignment on quadratic equations. Okay, so please take and stay with me whilst I walk you through the solution addressing some of your concerns, especially the major ones that came to bear in your various submissions. Once again, this is Mr. Hackman of Omega Vacation Classes. All right, so quickly, let's look at the solution to the first question. So always you see the question in red on top and the solution will be in black. Okay, following. So as always, you've been told anytime you read question, you will make it a point to underline the salient part, if any. So, okay, find the solution set. So usually I've told you, anytime you read question and you see solution set, true set, underline that. Okay, then of the following equations. So these are the equations. So quickly, let me go and walk you through the solution. Can you see the cursor, my professors? Hello, my professors, can you hear me? Can you see the cursor?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay, very good. So, as usual, questions are numbered because we want you to number your solution accordingly. So, solution is what you write first. Then, question number one, there is nothing to extract there. So, 1A, that's where you come and extract what the equation that you are asked to find a solution set. So, A, given this equation, or ignore the given, but this must be extracted, you know. Okay, so one way, you were advised that anytime you are given a quadratic equation and one side you have a quantity squared is equal to a constant on the other side, okay, always take the square root, okay, of the other side. So it's like the question indirectly was looking at it in terms of completing of squares. So completing of square, you know, one side will be in terms of a binomial squared and the other will be in terms of what? A number. So at this point, you take the square root of both sides. So square root of this will be equal to, and here failure to introduce the plus or minus will be costly. So the solution to an equation can be both positive and negative, not really positive, not really negative. Okay, so you don't have sufficient information to ignore the plus or minus, whether directly or indirectly. So plus or minus root of what? 8. So the square root will get rid of the square. So that gives us s plus 15 is equal to plus or minus, and you know root of 8 simplifies, okay, into its basic form as 2 root of what? 2. So at this point, you know you are looking for x. So you move this one. The next step, you move the 15 to this side, which will give us minus 15 plus or minus 2 root of what? 2. Okay, so this question, the question they didn't ask us to approximate. Okay, so one, the question they didn't ask you to approximate, and you are not going to use the s value that we have here to find any other value. What you need to do is conclude with the exact value of x. So this means that my x will be equal to minus 15 plus 2 roots of 2 or minus 15 minus 2 roots of 2. You cannot conclude with a plus or minus together. So you cannot say therefore s is equal to minus 15 plus or minus 2 roots of 5. You should always separate the plus or minus, just as I've done here, for you to know your clear, okay, two distinct solutions. So this is what we have. Some of you approximated, and if you want to approximate, remember I told you, if you want to approximate to 4dp. But if the question has not asked you to approximate, always leave your answer in terms of its exact value. Is that clear, my professors?
Yes,
Yes, please.
Okay, so this will be the alternative approach. Those of you who did not heed to the advice, where you have a binomial squared is equal to a constant, the advice is take the square root of both sides, meaning continue as if you are dealing with completing of square method in solving your quadratic equation. And those of you, this is what you do. So obviously you see the volume of work here, obviously. So in that case, you expand the side. Okay, that's what we have done here. You expand the side. Every binomial squared, you know, will give us this the same as, okay, s squared, your x squared, if you can do it mentally, then plus twice the product of, so it will be 2 times x times 15, then plus what? 15 squared. Okay, so this will give us, I did that mentally, and those of you who are matured can also do that mentally. This one squared, a binomial squared, will give us also this one squared, s squared, twice the product. So the product of this is 15x, twice that will give you 30x. Then plus this one squared will give us 225 is equal to 8. So now your usual quadratic equation, everything on one side, because you have it in mind that you want to solve this by using the method of factorization if possible. Even if you want to use, okay, the quadratic formula, everything is supposed to be on one side. Okay, so in this case, okay, I brought this one here, or you must bring this one here, which gives you s squared plus 30s plus, okay, 217, which will come as a result of subtracting 8 from 225. Then at this point, you realize that what you have here, you cannot factorize. Okay, remember I said if you cannot factorize any quadratic expression, so you are supposed to look for factors of 217 factor pair. That's when you multiply, you get positive 217. However, when you add, you get 30. So you get series of factor pairs. So which one will be? So you see that you'll be doing try and error, and okay, at the point you realize that you are wasting your time. So for you to know whether the try and error that you are doing will be a waste of time or not, okay, come and perform this test, especially in a situation where the number that you are finding, its factor is very huge. So do the b squared minus 4ac test. So if you do the b squared minus 4ac, you realize that your b squared minus 4ac will give you 32, because you will get b, which is what, 30 squared, okay, minus, in any case, that's what you have under the square roots here. So you can see that you end up getting 32. So I won't belabor the point. And 32 is not a perfect square. If it's not a perfect square, it means you cannot factorize. So once factorization, it means that factorization has failed. And remember, I said when factorization fails, you have to resort to any of the two other methods, completing of squares or the quadratic formula, but preferably the quadratic formula. Okay, completing of squares, unless we are restricted, we are not using it. So now you come and write, we know that factorization has failed, so we resort to the quadratic formula. So you come and write, but by the quadratic formula is this, x is equal to, quote the formula, minus b plus or minus root of b squared minus 4ac. And please take note, okay, I'm addressing a particular concern, very critical. If you write minus b, s is equal to minus b plus or minus root of b squared minus 4ac. And your square root here, okay, it's not covering the whole of this formula will be wrong. Take note. In your substitution too, if you substitute and your square root is not extended to all the terms that you have here, so maybe your square root ended at the 30 squared, you thinking that it is extended. No, we can't think like that. We mark what we see, not what you are thinking, what you have in your head. What we see is not covering this. So we'll mark you down. At that point, it will be M0, A0. However, if you didn't extend it to cover the minus 4AC or even the 4AC, you will lose only the formula mark. But if you did the right thing here by extending it here, you can get the rest of the marks. So please take note. So at this point, okay, you quote the formula and the formula will guide you. Okay, in this formula, we need the parameters A, B, C. So I need to go and get my values of A, B, and C. Some of you wrote A is equal to, I mean, as part of your main presentation, I remember the advice, if possible, come and extract that as a rough work. So you are comparing what you have here with AS squared plus BS plus C is equal to 0, the general quadratic equation, standard form. So if you compare, A will be equal to coefficient of x, which is 1, B will be equal to, sorry, coefficient of s squared, which is 1, B will be equal to coefficient of x, which is 30, and C will be the constant there, which is what? The 217. So now you come and substitute, and that's exactly what I have done here. So in my substitution, I know I'm solving for x. So I can write therefore here or write implies. If you have write implies, then you come and draw your conclusion, but you know you can be smart. So therefore, x will be equal to, then you go and substitute. If you wrote the a is equal to 1, b is equal to 30, comma, some of you didn't bring the comma, you just wrote a is equal to 1, a is equal to 1, b is equal to 30. Okay, see, no, you can't extract this way. A is equal to 1, comma. So take note, b is equal to 30 and, or if you don't want to write the end, you can still bring comma. Okay, and C is equal to the 217. Okay, you can't ignore the comma, so please take note. Okay, so at this point, you carry out your substitutions. And I was making a point, yes, those of you who wrote it this way, but okay, A is equal to this, B is equal to. Once something has interfered, you don't come and write only equal to. You have to write the left-hand side of your formula, okay, then you write the equal to before you carry out your substitution. So if you wrote A is equal to whatever, okay, you cannot ignore this. Immediately you ignore this, so it means that your A is what you are saying is equal to this, or what you have above here that you are saying is equal to that. Something has interfered with your equal to. So you write that side. And I'm reiterating that because I told you in class. So again, we are going to get therefore, you carry out your substitution, you simplify, and you end up getting the same result. So ideally, this is the best way to go. Okay, I just brought in this for you to know if you didn't heed the advice, the volume of work that you will do. Okay, so quickly let's go and look at that of what question what two. Okay, so question 1B, sorry. We are still on question 1. Question 1B, again, this is what we are asked to deal with. So 5s squared is equal to, okay, don't forget your question number. Okay, is equal to what we have here. At the normal circumstance, there shouldn't be this solution, okay, will be written 1 for every major question. So you don't write 1A solution, 1B solution, no. Okay, it's question, the major question solution, then your major question. You write solution again when you are moving from a major question to another major question. Take note. That was just by the way. So you extract what you are given. With this one, unfortunately, this side is factorized, but you can't say that, okay, this is equal to this or this is equal to that. Remember, you can only do that when the other side, which is not factorized, the number or the quantity that you have there is strictly 0. Other than that, you cannot. So this calls for expansion. So you expand this side, combine like terms, and move everything to this side. So after expanding and combining everything and combining like terms and moving everything, this will be your resultant equation. Okay, as for this one, you can all expand. It's not a special one, so it calls for the usual distribution. Okay, so we get this, and at this point too, your resultant quadratic equation, you ask yourself, okay, you were not restricted as to the method to use. So if factorization is possible, always settle on factorization. So you multiply 4 and minus 6, and 4 times minus 6, we all know, will give us what? Minus what? 24. So you are looking for factor pair of minus 24, which when you multiply, you get minus 24. When you add, you get the coefficient of your x here, which is minus 5. And here the factor pair will be minus 8 and positive 3. So you settle on these two and you use that one to break this middle term down. And now factorize the first two by grouping, the last two by grouping. Don't use your bracket to group, remember. So after doing that, this gives us a complete factorization of this side equal to 0. So now you have factors equal to 0. So you can use the 0 product rule. So there you write this x minus 2 is equal to 0, 4x plus 3 is equal to 0. So you set this one through. You solve for x here, which will give you x equal to 2. Come and solve for x here, and that will give us x equal to minus 3 on 4. So at this point, you are asked to find the true set. Oops, the other one too, did I leave the answer in the true set? So it means I was doomed. You can see that the answer, I have lost the true set mark. Do you agree? My professors, do you agree?
Yes, please.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so on this note, I am going to pause, okay, and do the needful. Change it to because it's because of we've not concluded where our true set, okay, is not that pretty. Okay, so we are going to do that straight away, but I have to pause. Okay, so take note. I would have subjected my answers through what I have underlined. So at that point, I will know that, okay, because I underlined this, before I move on to the next question, I will check. True set, have I? No true set. So I'll redeem myself, okay, at that point. So now let me go and pause. Okay, so we've gone back to effect the changes. So with this one, true set, so it will be, therefore, S is such that X is equal to the first, okay, value, okay, when you split, or, okay, the other value. So obviously, you know, okay, this is it. So you write exactly the same thing here, the same thing, okay. and that will be it for. So we are going back to what we were doing. That prompted us to come here. Okay, so this will give us your final answer must be in the true set. So that will be the solution for B. Okay, so now let's go and look at that of the C. Okay, oops, I didn't do the C. How? Okay, so maybe possibly I think let me see whether I put the C somewhere. Oh, I didn't do, I remember doing the C. Okay, no problem. Maybe I can guide you. Okay, so or there is a space there. I didn't want to. Okay, so let's do the oops. So let's do the C here. I will guide you, then maybe you continue. So C will be this. I think maybe that was the intention. Okay, for us to do it together. Okay, Prof. Josephine,
Sir, please, I think I saw the C.
you saw the C here because I remember typing. Let me check. Where did you see it? Okay, this is it. I didn't arrange it. I think this is it. Okay, so you are right. Okay, so this is the C because I remember I've done everything. It's just the editing that I was left to. I mean the proofreading. Okay, so thank you very much. So it's the arrangement that I didn't do it well. So quickly give me time to do the arrangement. So I think it's the arrangement that didn't come out well. Okay, so obviously, okay, this is the C. You also extract. So after that, what do you do with this one? Obviously, you know that you don't have one side that is completely factorized. So you see brackets, so you have to remove brackets. So you expand here, expand this side. If you expand it binomial squared, you know. If you can't do it mentally using the matured way, that is s squared plus 2s plus 1. You know this is the same as x plus 1. I'll do that as a rough work x plus 1, then go and expand. So that will give you x squared, okay, plus what? X plus 1, which will give you the x squared plus 2x plus 1. Then you import your result here. You come and do same for this one too. Okay, as a rough work, then you import your result there. So if you expand this, we are matured. So x squared minus twice the product of this, so that will give you 4x. Then plus 2 squared, which will give you 4. But there is still plus 3 there. You write it. So this is what I did. I combine here. I know that the s squared will go. Initially, you might think you are dealing with a quadratic equation, but you see that you end up getting a linear equation. So s squared will go. Okay, so you are going to get a linear equation which will be 6x is equal to 12 because I moved this one here, okay, to give me 6x because it will be 2x plus 4x. And this now becomes minus 5. And this side will be what? Will be, okay, 7. So that will give you, I move this one here. So the minus 5 will come here. And I will get 7 plus 5, which will give you 12. So you write it again, you divide, okay, both sides by 6. You get x equal to 2, and that will be it. Point well made, my professors.
Yes, please.
Okay, so now to the second question, which will be the last question for this session. Okay, so let's see. Solve the following equation using the quadratic formula. So you underline, okay, using the quadratic formula or quadratic formula. So if you use any approach, you are wrong. Then again, there is another information here. Correct your answer to 2 significant figures when necessary. So you underline this as well. Okay, so until your solution has the whole of what we have underlined taken care of, you won't get the full score, basically. Even if you do everything right until it. So now what do we have? Given 2a, you extract the first equation. Now you can see that here you don't think about factorization. The question is specific as to the method to use. So because this is in y, you quote your quadratic formula in y. Some of you used x, so you were quoting the word. Immediately you quote it in x, you are doomed. Unless you write, let x be equal to y or y be equal to x. Other than that, if you don't do that, it will be b0. If you come and use the x again here, it will be m0, a0. So take note. Some of you did the x and later you realized that your answer is supposed to be in y. So you went to change it. Okay, some of you canceled and wrote the y there. Some of you had to write through the x to be what y. Okay, so at this point, you know, if you compare, A is what? 3, B is -5, and C is 2. So you come and substitute that into your formula. And make sure when you are carrying out your substitution, you should be in brackets. Failure to put it in bracket in this situation will be costly. So if the bracket is not there and you have -5 squared, that will give you -25, not +25. So substitute, then simplify. If you simplify, you know at this point you are going to get 5 plus 1 over 6, which you give 5 plus 1 is 6, 6 over 6, or then 5 minus 1 over 6. So the 5 minus 1 is 4 over 6. This, if you simplify, it will give you 1. If you simplify, you get 2 on 3. But the question asks us to give our approximation to two significant figures. So it means where necessary, this is a whole number. Okay, so just a single number. It's not necessary. You cannot take it to two significant figures. With this one, 2 over 3, you know, will give us 0.167. Okay, which as it will give us 0.6666 recurring. But if you take it to two significant figures, you get what 0.67. Take note. And the B, I guess my point is well made here, my professors.
Yes, please.
Okay, and the B, okay, given with this one to similar to what we only did this time around, the equation contains a fraction. And the point is, okay, when Prof. Gideon, let me finish, I'll give you opportunity, let me land. Okay, when you are given this, you clear the fraction. Any equation that contains fraction, clear the fraction before you start solving. If your equation can be reduced, reduce before solving. So if you clear the fraction, you are going to get each of the terms multiplied by the LCM, which will be 2. So, okay, I'm going to get this times 2, the 2 will cancel, s squared. This times 2 will give you minus s, this times 2 would give me, okay, I think I did something. So because of that, the entire whatever that we have here is going to be wrong. So we are going to have a major, okay, I think I didn't multiply this one by, so that's why I wanted to do the proofreading before. Okay, so this should have been multiplied by, what do you call it? 2, and it will be 8. So let's do it. We'll do the change together, okay, and solve together. So I think you still can see. Let me move this one so that it will be a bit bigger. Okay, so now this becomes -8. Am I right? So we are doing the change, okay, together. So it will be minus, okay, so it will be +8. My professors, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
so in
please.
that case, we're asked to use the quadratic formula. So your A will be 1, your B will still be -6, your C is what has changed to +8. So the C is here, and that will be 8. So I'll rely on you going forward for the simplification. So this will give us, okay, -6 squared, which is 36, but this will give us what? This will give us 4 times 8, is that not it? And that will give us 32.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, yes.
so that will be 32. So it's 32 that must be here. So in actual fact, this will give us 36 minus 32. So we are going to get a pretty value. So that will give us what? 4. Am I right?
Yes,
Okay, don't
please.
forget you over your 2, the 2 into 1. I think you follow. The issue is with the value that I didn't take off in terms of the multiplication. So we know root of what? Root of 4. 4 is a perfect square, so that will give us 2. Okay, so we get 6 plus or minus 2 over 2. So we are going to get 6, okay, plus 2. Okay, so I'm going to get, okay, so that will give me, I can reduce, someone can reduce and get 3 plus or minus 1. Do you agree? So I am going to deal with it that way. Okay, so I know 2 is a factor of this. Okay, can reduce. So I'll get this, or someone straight away will do the 6 plus 2 over 2, and that will give you your 8 over 2, which will give you 4. So for me to, if I do 3 plus 1, that will also give me 4 straight away here. So I'm going to write the 4 as my first solution here. Or my second solution will give me 3 minus 1, which will be 2. My professors, I hope you are following.
Yes, please.
Okay, so it means here it will not be necessary. The values are whole number values, so it will not be necessary for us to, what do you call it, change it to that significant figure. So I will end here. Okay, I'm going to end here because therefore it's already here. So I'm going to end here. Okay, so this will be a final, okay, value in terms of my solution. Oops. Okay, so that is what we have there. Okay, so this becomes what the solution. Prof. Gideon, I guess maybe that was what you were trying to draw my attention to. Am I right? When you put up your hand.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So, okay, we have effected the changes or the change, okay, together. So that will be it for this particular solution, the team assignment questions 1 to 2. Okay, in the next video that I'll share with you, we'll look at the solution to the 3 up to 5. Make sure you watch it before, okay, you sit down and settle for the class test, which will be on Wednesday. Is that clear, my professors?
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Okay, so on that note, okay, so I would want to say that, did I resume recording? Let me check. Did I?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
all right, okay, I'm safe. So at this point, thank you very much for your time, for your attention. Okay, God bless us all.